Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Chat Like a Native. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you with us.
So, if you're listening to this, you're probably trying to get really good at speaking English.
Yeah, moving past that kind of like intermediate stage.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the basics down, but now you want to be able to really chat.
Yeah, you want to chat like a native.
If you want to chat like a native, that's why you're here.
Right.
But there's this sneaky little thing that a lot of people kind of trip up on.
Right.
And it can really slow you down.
Yeah.
Make you feel less confident.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to dive into that today.
We are.
We're going to talk about what it is and what you can do about it.
Exactly right. Practical steps.
Yes. So that you can get out of your own way.
Absolutely. And start speaking more naturally.
Start speaking more naturally like someone who actually thinks in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, when you're putting together a puzzle and you're so focused on each individual piece, like making sure it's in exactly the right spot. You can kind of lose sight of the big picture.
Right.
And it takes you forever to finish the puzzle.
Yes.
And even then, it might not look quite right.
Yeah, it's not as smooth as if you had sort of stepped back and looked at the whole picture first.
Right. Exactly. It's the same thing with speaking English. If you're trying to translate every single word.
Yeah, from your native language.
Yeah, one by one. It just slows you down.
Oh, yeah.
And it can make your English sound kind of choppy.
A little unnatural.
Not quite right.
Yeah. Like you're a robot.
Yeah.
Just putting words together instead of a human who has a thought and then just speaks it.
It's a lot of mental work, too.
Oh, it's exhausting.
It is.
I remember when I was learning other languages.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're doing two things at once.
Yeah.
You're thinking in your native language.
Right.
And then you're trying to translate it on the fly into English.
And that takes up so much brain power.
Oh my gosh, so much energy.
That you could be using to just focus on what you want to say.
Actually thinking about the message you're trying to get across.
The meaning.
The meaning, yeah.
Not just the words.
Right. Instead, you're stuck in this translation loop.
Yeah. And it makes it really hard to respond quickly in a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And that can make you feel less confident.
Absolutely. Because it's you're always a step behind.
Yeah.
Everybody else is zipping along. And you're wait, hold on.
I'm trying to catch up.
We got to translate this in my head.
Right.
And you also lose the natural rhythm of English.
Yes. That's so important. Native speakers don't think about each individual word.
Right. They just speak.
They think about the whole phrase, the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so their speech has this natural flow to it.
Yes. Like music almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're so stuck on the individual words, we kind of lose that music.
Right. And it can sound really unnatural.
Like a robot again.
Like a robot.
Okay. So we know that this whole word-for-word translation thing is a problem.
Yes, a big problem.
So how do we fix it? How do we get out of that habit?
So the key is to shift your focus.
Okay.
From the individual words to the overall meaning.
The big picture again.
The big picture, exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to translate each word,
yeah,
think about the whole idea you want to express.
Mm-hmm.
What's the message?
Right.
And then try to find natural English phrases that convey that meaning.
So it's when you're listening to someone speak English.
Right.
You don't necessarily catch every single word.
Right. You don't need to.
But you get the gist.
You understand the overall message.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do when we're speaking.
Okay, so in a practical sense, what would that sound like?
Okay, so let's imagine two people are talking about a movie.
Okay.
One person might say, hey, did you catch that new movie last night? And the other person might say, yeah, it was great. Really exciting. And the acting was superb. I loved how the story played out.
Okay, totally natural. Sounds like a normal conversation.
Right. But if you were to translate that word for word,
oh no,
it would sound something like, greetings, have you observed the recent motion picture on the previous evening?
Oh my goodness.
And the other person might say, affirmative, I have. It possessed a high degree of excitement, and the performances by the actors were of excellent quality. I derived pleasure from the manner in which the narrative unfolded.
That sounds like a robot wrote that.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's because they're focused on translating each word individually instead of thinking about the overall meaning.
Right, and that first conversation that we heard used all these natural phrases.
Yeah.
Catch that new movie played out.
Exactly. And those phrases convey the meaning so much more naturally and fluently.
Then observe the recent motion picture.
Right, exactly. And this is where idioms and expressions come in.
Oh yeah, idioms are so important.
They're like the spice of the English language. They
Yeah.
make it more colorful, more interesting.
Yeah, and more natural.
More natural, exactly.
So instead of saying I'm very happy,
right.
you could say I'm over the moon.
Exactly. Or I'm on cloud 9.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Yeah. So many different ways to express the same idea.
And they all sound so much more natural.
Than just saying, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
So the more idioms and expressions you know,
Mm-hmm.
the more natural your English will sound.
Right. Okay, so we need to start using those. But how do we actually, break this habit?
Of translating word for word.
Yeah, what are some things that people can do right now?
Yeah, some practical exercises.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a fun one.
Okay.
It's called the English Brain Burst.
Ooh, I like that.
So all you do is set a timer for 1 minute.
Okay.
And during that minute, you just think in English.
Out loud or in your head?
It can be either.
Okay.
But the key is to not translate from your native language.
Just go straight to English.
Straight to English. Okay,
Yeah.
You can describe what you're doing, what you see, what you're thinking about.
Anything.
Anything.
Okay.
And don't worry about making mistakes.
Yeah, just let it flow.
Just let it flow. The goal is to get your brain thinking in English.
To build that habit.
Exactly.
Okay, love it. English brain burst, what else?
Okay, so another good one is repetition and paraphrasing.
Ooh, paraphrasing's a good one.
Yeah. So you find a short audio or video clip in English.
Okay.
Could be from a TV show, a movie, a podcast, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you listen to it carefully,
Okay.
and then you try to repeat what you heard, but using your own words.
Oh, okay, so I'm not just parroting it back.
No, you're processing the meaning
Okay.
and then expressing it in a different way.
Okay, got it.
So, for example, if you hear someone say, the appointment has been moved to Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
you could say, they rescheduled the meeting for Tuesday.
Okay, cool. So I'm understanding the meaning, and then I'm putting it into my own words.
Exactly. And that helps you to internalize those natural expressions.
Right, instead of just memorizing words.
Yeah, you're actually understanding how to use them.
Okay.
And then there's shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this one?
I have, yes, where you basically try to talk at the same time as the speaker.
Yes, exactly. So you listen to a native speaker
Okay.
and you try to mimic their pronunciation, their intonation, their rhythm,
Everything.
everything. Yeah, you're like their shadow.
Okay.
And this is great for improving your pronunciation
Mm-hmm.
and getting a feel for the natural flow of English.
Right, because you're really paying attention to how they're saying things,
Exactly.
not just the words themselves.
Right, the music of the language.
Yeah, the music. Okay, shadowing. Cool.
And then there's journaling.
Oh, good old journaling.
Yeah, just write in English every day
About anything.
about anything.
Okay.
Start with simple sentences and then gradually increase the complexity. And this helps you to get comfortable expressing your thoughts in English.
Without having to translate.
Without having to translate, yeah.
Okay.
And it also helps you to learn new vocabulary and grammar.
Yeah, because you're actively using
Yeah,
it.
actively using it.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got English, brain burst repetition, and paraphrasing,
Mhm.
shadowing, journaling. What else?
And of course, the best way to get better at speaking English is to actually speak it.
Oh, yeah. Practice.
Practice, practice, practice.
With real people.
With real people, yeah.
Okay.
So find a conversation partner.
Mm-hmm.
Join a language exchange.
Go to an English corner.
Take an English class.
Yeah. Whatever you could do to get some speaking practice.
Right, because when you're talking to someone in real time,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have time to translate.
Nope.
You have to think in English.
You have to be in the moment.
In the moment, yes.
Yeah. And it's scary, but it's also the best way to improve.
Absolutely. The
Okay.
more you do it, the easier it gets.
And the more confident you'll feel.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking practice is key.
Yeah.
But what about outside of those actual conversations?
Oh, yeah. There are so many other things you can do.
Okay.
Like immerse yourself in English media.
Oh, yeah?
Watch movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to music and podcasts.
Read books and articles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And pay attention to how native speakers use the language.
The phrases, the idioms.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay.
And technology can be really helpful too.
Yeah.
There are so many language learning apps and websites
Mm-hmm.
that can help you with your vocabulary, your grammar, your pronunciation.
And they can be fun, too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to feel like studying.
Right.
It can be like playing a game.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got lots of options here.
We do.
But I think it's important to remember that this is a process.
Yeah, it takes time and effort.
You're not going to become fluent overnight.
No.
So be patient with yourself.
Yes.
Set realistic goals.
Mhm.
and celebrate your progress.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, mistakes are part of the process.
They are?
It's how we learn.
Exactly.
So embrace them,
Yes.
analyze them,
Figure out what went wrong.
and then try again.
And try again.
And remember, everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone, even native speakers.
Yeah. So don't let it hold you back.
Right. Just keep practicing, keep speaking, keep learning.
And find people who support you.
Oh, yes.
Like, find a language partner.
Mm.
Join a study group.
Find a community online.
Yeah, surround yourself with people who are on the same journey as you.
Exactly, because it can be really motivating
And encouraging.
to know that you're not alone.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so let's recap.
Okay.
We talked about how translating word for word can really slow you down and make your English sound unnatural.
Right.
So we need to shift our focus to understanding and conveying the overall meaning,
The big picture.
the big picture.
Yes.
We talked about some practical exercises like English brain burst,
Yeah, repetition and paraphrasing, shattering journaling.
all those good things.
All those good things.
And we talked about the importance of speaking practice and immersing yourself in English media
Yes.
and using technology to your advantage.
Right.
And we talked about the importance of being patient with yourself
Uh-huh.
and not being afraid to make mistakes.
And finding supportive people.
Yes, surrounding yourself with a good community.
Absolutely.
So that's it for today.
That's it.
But before we go, we want to leave you with something to think about.
Yes, a little food for thought.
So the next time you're speaking English
Mm-hmm.
and you find yourself translating in your head,
Stop. Stop.
and think about the overall meaning.
What are you trying to say?
What's the message?
And then try to express it in a natural way.
Using phrases and expressions,
Idioms.
idioms, yeah, and see what happens.
Notice how it feels.
Does your speech flow more smoothly?
Do you feel more confident?
We think you'll be surprised by the results.
We think so too.
So that's it for today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for chatting with us on Chat Like a Native.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.